I'd love to talk now about the Prince and Princess of Wales, because it has been such a positive start to the year for them. Catherine, yes, Catherine, I do read the comments and I thank you for the reminders. We recently heard she's in remission and the future is looking so bright. What do you think we're going to see from her next?
Well, I think, it was wonderful to see her at the Royal Marsden. I think it was deeply significant that she chose going to the place where we now know she was treated for her own cancer to mark that first official solo engagement. The first in over a year.
Yeah.
So it was poignant, it was obviously important, and it was very personal. And I think what we're seeing her do is use that unique spotlight that she has to put it on a really important cause. I mean, cancer will affect 1 in 2 of us. And I think the Royals have done great work in a very short space of time in terms of breaking down the stigma that I think is still attached to this disease. Both the King and Princess Catherine have gone through their own cancer journeys in the past 12 months. So to see her doing this work was wonderful. I was really moved by it. She looked so well. She was really radiant. I mean, there was a wonderful photograph taken by Chris Jackson when she arrived at the hospital, and you could see her looking up at the sign. And you've got the reflection of the Royal Marsden in that photograph. And you can see, this was a place that she went to not knowing how it was going to fare for her, not knowing how she was going to respond to the treatment, if she was going to be all right. And you could see that look in her face. And, I think it was a very brave, I think what she's done has been very brave to speak about it so publicly, to go back to the Royal Marsden, which she obviously wanted to do, to thank the people who'd taken care of her, to go and speak to people who are going through the treatment, which she's gone through herself. It's been in many ways a great leveller. So I think we can expect to see her do more of the work within this field. Of course, the Prince of Wales is back to work. It's been a busy start to the new year for him. We know he's going to be at the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz next week. We won't see the Princess of Wales at that, but I think we will see her at important moments. I mean, this is going to be a big year for the royal family, and I think she's going to cherry pick quite carefully the engagements that she wants to be at. She will have a new perspective on life now. Her priority is her children, always has been, it's always come before anything else, and her health. And those things will come first before anything else. But she is incredibly dutiful. She's absolutely dedicated to the job. There was a lot of speculation last year that she may not come back into the role in the same way, that she may not be doing as much. I think she will resume full-time royal duties, but you have to remember it's only been a year. She's still in the very early stages of her remission, and we need her. That's what I think the past 12 months have shown us. So we need to give her that time and space to make a full recovery. And so let's just be patient, manage expectations.
You're absolutely right. I suppose, because obviously we talk about the royal topics pretty much every day. It feels like it's been a while, but the reality is she only let us know that she'd finished chemotherapy in September. So really it has only been a couple of months since she's been back. And I know that we're all just impatient because people love her and she's missed when she's not out on the royal engagement.
She is, and I think the point is that when we do see her out, it's really going to sort of concentrate that spotlight. She did a lot of running up and down the country, juggling that with the 3 children, doing the overseas tours. I think people would be quite surprised to learn just how hands-on William and Catherine are as parents. And I think, this is just, it's a wake-up call, isn't it? This is a real reality check for her. And so I think it's a case of what Kensington Palace are describing as a very gradual return to work that's very much on her terms. And I think that's how it should be.
What about the BAFTAs? I know it's a much lighter note, but I love seeing Catherine at the BAFTAs when she hits the red carpet, and that's on next month. So do you think there's a chance we'll see her?
Listen, I think there's a chance. Of course, it's the Prince of Wales who's the patron of BAFTA. It's his thing. But as you say, Bronte, she always lights up that red carpet, doesn't she, when she attends?
Oh, yes.
And, it would be wonderful to see her at something like that. It's possible, but I think it's more likely that we're going to see her sort of really use that energy and focus her efforts on her early years, that sort of work within that field of what she's doing, and in both research, in visits. And remember last year, that was going to be a big year for the early years, and a lot of that had to go on the back burner. So I think, yes, we might see her at the BAFTAs and looking wonderful in a dress, but I think her focus is going to want to be really picking up where she left off last year and not able to complete a lot of what she wanted to do. And I think there's every chance that we might see a tour. That would be wonderful if we did, if she's well enough to do that. I don't think it's going to be anything long haul, but, there's every chance they might be able to do a short haul tour. And I think, you know, we've seen with the king how important that visibility is. You know, when he gets out, when he's doing those things, it gives us here and around the world the reassurance that, you know, the monarchy is in safe hands, and that the king as well, and, you know, that those he refers to as his substitutes, I suppose, are also well in supporting him.
Absolutely, and we will talk about his substitutes and the people that are supporting the King and the Waleses in the royal family shortly. But to stay on the Princess of Wales for a moment, it's been reported recently that she will be the first Princess of Wales. Sorry, I should say it's been speculated, not confirmed yet, but that she may be the first Princess of Wales in decades to be able to grant royal warrants. What do we think this says about her position in the royal family now?
Well, I mean, I was quite surprised to discover that the late Princess of Wales, Diana, didn't give royal warrants. It's always been the Prince of Wales and the monarch. So I think, you know, this does open up the whole modernising of the monarchy. You know, she's a woman, of course, giving her the right to do that, but also giving her that breadth within her role as the Princess of Wales. I think really just shows how important that title is, how weighty it is. And it'll be very interesting if she's given that privilege of awarding royal warrants, who will she give them to? I mean, I would imagine that, well, a designer like Alexander McQueen, who she's become so synonymous with, of course, Sarah Burton designed her wedding dress. She's been dressed by Sarah Burton at McQueen for so many important occasions. I would imagine brands like that, brands like Holland Cooper, who she loves, will be, you know, probably high up on that list of, that short list of who to give the royal warrant to.
Probably some very excited designers in Mayfair at the moment, wondering if they'll have one bestowed upon them. So to move over to Prince William, there's also been a lot of reports and speculation lately about some ideas that he's potentially mulling over for whenever his time as king comes around. And one of them, unsurprisingly, I think, though, is about the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh and about elevating their position, but also potentially bringing in their children, Lady Louise and James, Earl of Wessex, and giving them working royal roles. What's your take? Obviously, it's not confirmed. This is just, you know, this has been speculated, but what's your take on that idea?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you look at Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, they've been very much encouraged to go and live independent lives of the royal family, to earn their own living, not to be dependent on taxpayer-funded security, not to be a drain, I suppose, on the public purse. So it would be a step in a different direction. And I think, you know, possibly it is being looked at. I mean, Princess Beatrice was there on Christmas Day. That was a sort of very visible presence for her. They're sort of welcoming her back into the royal fold. I know that both Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are keen to do some royal work around their jobs and their home lives. And one wonders if perhaps that's a template that might work for Viscount Severn and Lady Louise Windsor.